Hey everybody. So today we're going to talk about buying cheap versus buying expensive tools. And I don't know that I will be in the minority on this, but maybe I will be, I'm not sure. There's nothing wrong with buying cheaper tools for a reason. So what we're going to be comparing today is nut drivers, and just kind of be talking about why there are good reasons for buying expensive tools and why there are good reasons for buying cheap tools. So what we're going to compare sort of here, these are all professional tools that I use. So let's just kind of go through this. Basically, when I first started 3 years ago, one of the first tools that I was told that I needed was a set of nut drivers. So here you can see I've got some nut drivers: 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2 inch. This came with a few smaller sizes, but I almost never use them, so they're in my rolling tote, but I almost never ever use them. And these four here, these are kind of my workhorses. So I think there were two more, I want to say. There were two more, maybe three, but these four are the ones I use as a workhorse, okay? With the 2 to 3 additional nut drivers, these are not magnetic. These are not hollow shafted. These go back to probably here-ish, maybe. In total, these I think were $8. These come from the land of Harbor Freight. That's right, folks. These are Pittsburgh brand nut drivers. You probably can't see them. Oh, maybe you can read that. Boom. If it'll get in focus. Who knows? I'm using a Galaxy SC. And it's kind of old. Anyway, these are Pittsburgh brand nut drivers. They're nothing special, but they're nut drivers. In contrast, we've got this boy. This is a Klein multi nut driver. Now, it's missing a little appendage. There's a little guy that sits in here. Actually, you know what? I might... I have my bag in here, but I'm not 100% sure where it is, so I really don't want to try to find it. Anyway, this is a Klein multi-nut driver. So I've got a 5/16 on this end, the 3/8 on this end. It also comes with a little piece that sets in here that has a 1/4 inch and maybe 3/16. Very, very small. These are totally hollow. These are hollow all the way through. Well, there's something in there, but probably a little springy for this boy. But they're pretty hollow. Don't remember how much this was. Again, it has a little additional piece that I don't have in here right now because I never use it. That added 2 more sizes onto this. This, I want to say, was somewhere in the $23 to $30 range. Okay. Now, what's the benefit of this over this? Well, this is hollow shafted. This is not. Okay. This is one tool, has multiple sizes. What this does in its current state does this. All right. So one tool, 2 tools. All right. Okay. But there's a lot of nuance to buying expensive or cheap tools. So, like I said in a different video about buying cheap levels, if a cheap level gets broken because I drop it 35 foot off a scissor lift or a boom lift or what have you, I don't really care. Same thing with these boys. $8, if something happens to them, I don't really care. Now, what we do a lot, especially at the heating and air conditioning facility we've worked at a lot, is they will use concrete sleeve anchors, which are usually are 3/8 here. What you do is you drill the hole with a hammer drill, and then you slide the 3/8 sleeve anchor in there, and it's got a little washer and a little nut, and you sit there and what you're supposed to do is you spin it on, and as you spin it on, there's a little bell at the end, and it pulls itself up into the sleeve, and the sleeve then has to expand out, and it grabs the concrete. The thing is, though, a lot of times you'll drill that 3/8 inch hole, and you'll slide the concrete anchor in there, but it won't want to go all the way in. So what you do is you'll put your 3/8 nut driver on there, and then you'll just bang it with a hammer. And as you can see, that's seen some hammer damage. Okay? Why do I beat this with a hammer? Well, it was one of maybe 6 pieces. It cost me $8 total. I don't want to do that with this, because this is a nice tool that I can use in all kinds of variety of ways, but I don't want to beat on it with a hammer. There's been a little beating on it. You can see there's been a little beating on this, but ultimately I don't want to beat on this. And that's kind of the downside about buying a more expensive tool. You do want to take care of it, absolutely, but then that keeps you from using it. So I have this tool, which has a 3/8 and a 5/16 nut driver in it. Again, it has 2 smaller bits, which I don't use. That's my personal choice. But what this does, I use these way more. I keep them all in my bag, but I always find myself using these. Like if I'm gonna drive a 3/8 nut, I'll find myself using this before I find myself using this. And again, it goes down to, this is more expensive. I don't want to damage it because it has that hollow shaft. If I need to use a hollow shaft, I have this. And I don't want to damage it like this. But this is cheap and I can beat the crap out of it, right? As another example, this guy, right? This is an 11-in-1 Klein multi-screwdriver. I use this all the freaking time. And this is the flip side of buying an expensive tool. Where the bad thing about buying an expensive tool in this instance is I find myself wanting to use a cheaper tool because I can beat on it and throw it around and whatnot, and I don't really care. But the flip side is, don't need this boy in here. This tool is the second one I've owned, but I've only purchased one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and all of these are 1/4 inches. 11 different functions. 5/16, 3/8, 1/4 inch. You've got a size 2 and a size 1 square head. You've got different size Torx bits. You've got a size 1 flathead and Phillips, and you've got a size 2 flathead and Phillips. 11 pieces in one. I use this thing all the freaking time. The flip side to buying expensive tools, and not all tools will have this, but the reason why I'm very comfortable using this tool is this comes with a lifetime warranty. So I spend the extra money up front. Like I said, this is the second one I've had, but I've only had to pay for one. I've had, and it's almost time to get a new one because, again, I work in a chemical factory most days. It's a very corrosive environment, so the bits are getting kind of tight. It's not so bad. The last one I had, like, you literally could not pull it out. But that is a benefit to buying a more expensive tool. It might come with a better warranty or a warranty at all. This ain't got no warranty. It comes with a warranty, okay? But here's the thing, and maybe it's just me not making any sense. That's very, very possible, but this also has a lifetime warranty. But the thing is, this would require me to beat on it and damage the tool. This I'm not gonna beat on this thing. There's no reason to beat on this thing. It's not a nut driver. I mean, it can be. Like I said, you could take this square head out and boom, you got yourself a 1/4 inch nut driver. Take this out, boom, you got a 3/8 nut driver. Like, that's the benefit of this tool. So there is a flip side. Now, these may be special exemptions, or exceptions, excuse me, because Klein is a very good tool brand, has a lifetime warranty. But it can also kind of bite you in the butt. So this has a lifetime warranty. This has a lifetime warranty. Don't want to use this because I don't want to damage it. I use it all the time because it's super versatile. but I'm not gonna intentionally damage it, but I'm okay with using it all the time. But there are times, right? This is kind of a kind of side note. There are times where this doesn't work really well because it has, it's designed to have that that nut driving capability here, where a regular actual Phillips or a flathead or a square head screwdriver would be better because it's thinner and you need to get into something that's a little thinner, right? So that can be not beneficial. But then you roll into something like this. These are high leverage wire cutters. We regularly call them aught cutters, which mean you're using wire that isn't the aught size, 1/0, 2/0, 3/0, 4/0 size wire in the American wire gauge system. This is a multi-tool, has lots of functions. It drives nuts, but different sizes. This is a multi-tool that can drive nuts and screws, right? Fasteners of some sort, has multiple functions. This has one function, it cuts things, that's all it does, right? Now, if you're a good electrician, not only can you cut the wire, but you can also use this to strip thicker wire, SO cord, 4/0 wire, whatever you're doing, you can use this to strip. Ultimately, it has one function, cut things. This is a Klein tool brand, okay? This tool that has basically one function costs $35. $35, one function. Now, I will use this anytime I need it, no matter what. But, I might also find myself, I doubt it. If I'm working on something and they're sitting there, maybe I'll grab it and beat on something, but most often they're not. They're not going to get abused more than what they're for. But they're a single-use tool, and I spent $30-some, $35, $36, I'm not sure exactly what it was. Now, I could go and buy the Menards Ultra Special Smart Electrician brand for $8. Is it going to be as good as this? Honestly, I doubt it. The metal's probably cheaper, probably doesn't stay sharp as long, but I don't know. I didn't spend that. I bought this for $30-some, a single-purpose tool, because it comes with a lifetime warranty. So once these get dull to the point it's like these are pointless to have in my bag because they don't cut anything, I'd rather get it with my dikes or whatever I got laying around, linemen's maybe, then I can take this to a store that sells this brand of tools, find the exact same thing on the shelf, come up and go, I need to replace this because it doesn't work anymore and I need to get a new one. And more likely, they're not going to give me any gruff about, did you damage it? I mean, I used the dang thing, so that kind of is a benefit of buying an expensive tool. But that doesn't necessarily mean that every expensive tool is going to have a great warranty. Some tools do have great warranties. Some tools don't. And that's something you got to weigh in when you're buying a tool. Just because it's more expensive does not necessarily mean it's going to be a better tool. When I bought these guys, again, and I had just started as an electrician, and the guy I was working with said, you need to buy a set of nut drivers. And as we were working, I could tell, I kept borrowing his nut drivers. I'm like, okay, I need to get some nut drivers. And I went to the store, I went to the Home Depot, and I looked for, because anyway, as an electrician, you go, okay, Klein makes good tools. They have the lifetime warranty, let's get them. For a set of Klein magnetic hollow shafted nut drivers, it was like $50-some. And as a first year apprentice electrician, it was like, that is, and when I had started, I had taken a $2 an hour pay cut from my previous job. And that was not something that I could just drop the money on. But I needed nut drivers. I needed them. So I was like, well, my old man always says, he always says, oh, we'll go Harbor Freight. They got good deals on tools. And everyone that I worked with was like, don't go to Harbor Freight. Bad tools. But I picked these bad boys up. Again, they had 2, maybe 3 more that I never used, so it doesn't matter. We'll just say these 4 guys, even if it were just these 4 guys, bought them for $8. I've been using them for 3 years. And even though I beat on this 3/8 all the time, the plastic is still intact. Sure, the plastics, the rubber's coming off or whatever. They're not super deep, hollow shafted or whatever, but they get the job done. And I spent $8. That's $2 a piece for this, and I've been using them for 3 years. I use them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It is okay to buy cheap tools. It is okay. Don't let anyone tell you that you have to buy the most expensive tools because that means you're going to get the best quality. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Again, I spent a lot of money on this. It does one thing. You know? Does it do it well? Sort of. Not as well as I would hope. But it does the job enough. But I was willing to spend the money on this tool, single-use tool, because it came with a warranty. And sure, I could buy those Klein nut drivers and bang on them. But when you buy something that's nice, you don't want to abuse it. So this has just kind of been sort of a rant, as you could clearly tell. Basically, just again to say, just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's high quality. And just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's bad. You just have to kind of go out on a limb sometimes and talk to people. Or sometimes just make a decision. Like I said, the guy I worked with said, spend your money on good tools. And at the time, I didn't have the money. So I bought what I could afford. And these have been great. They have done me so much work. So, especially these two guys, my 3/8 and my 7/16. They do the most amount of work. So, anyway, that's been my video here on whether to buy cheap or expensive tools. I guess it comes down to, it depends. But never shy away from buying a cheap tool if you think it's going to get the job done. And don't be afraid. Sometimes you see a price tag on a tool and you're like, whoa, that's a little steep. But you know what? If it's going to last you a long time, especially if it's got a great warranty like these, as long as you keep making these, I don't have to buy these again. I can beat the crap out of them. You know, I could use these and use these, use these and use these. And this guy. You know, over and over and over again. And as soon as they go bad, I can get them replaced for free because I already paid for them. I have the warranty, right? So, all right, I feel like I'm kind of running in circles here, so I'm going to let everybody go. Again, hey, if you got to the end of this video, I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do on these types of things. So, appreciate you hanging out with me. And everybody stay safe. Have a great night.